encouraged by the fact that none of us are perfect. Over the years, I've learned to be me, and I pride myself in keeping it real as much as I can. I've lived and worked in Europe, Asia, and the US for the last 25 years, always in HR positions, specialist, generalist roles, leading regions and leading global functions. And the common thread, I think, for me has always been this passion for talent. Passion for developing talent in an international context. My early years shaped my future, so I came from the Midlands, from a working class family. I was the first generation to go to university. And I think in many ways, where I came from was really the source of ambition, the source of my desire for success. So it was really that childhood, I think, that gave me a thirst for exploring and wanting to have a different experience and live overseas and create a different life for myself. I moved to Paris the first time when I was 21, just out of university, and have since then made several international moves as a single woman, as a married woman, across different industries, so moving to Hong Kong, moving to Switzerland, moving back to Paris, and working in lots of different environments and contexts. And I think really what that's built is agility, adaptability, and resilience above all. 2 or 3 jobs in to my career, I was working in France as a recruitment manager, working across Europe in the telecoms industry, and had the most amazing boss. Really was fortunate to work for someone who 100% believed in my potential, and was really focused on developing me. And it was someone who I was able to have a really open conversation to say, I want to have a more international career, I want to experience something else other than Europe. And he said to me, apply for this job in Hong Kong, for which I would never have imagined I would be qualified. And it was a job setting up a recruitment function for a client in Hong Kong. So I applied for the job, did the assessment centre and was selected. And went with my 2 suitcases in 2006, having never been to Asia before, not knowing Seoul, the other side of the world. And it was really that decision that set me off on, this journey then of really accelerated growth, I would say, over the next 10 years. So it was really that moment, of taking the leap of faith and moving to Hong Kong that ultimately opened the door for me, to so many rich professional experiences that I've been able to build on since. An old boss, who was still a mentor, friend, source of inspiration to me, once said to me, Laura, you always forget the work, but you never forget the people. The people that I worked with, the relationships that I had, the teams that I was on. And I really value being able to pick up the phone today to people I worked with 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and being able to ask them for advice. In my early years, I definitely created a corporate version of myself, and what I thought was expected. And I think as you grow, and as you start to manage people and you start to lead people, it becomes really difficult, as you integrate more responsibilities to hold up the standard of the corporate face at all times. And I also think as you lead people, they need to see more of you. They need you to be vulnerable, they need you to be authentic and show more of who you are. I think I wish I'd dared to be me a little earlier in my career. I think nobody really wants perfection. It's important to have a rich career, to be able to continue to develop myself professionally and give professionally, equally as much as it's important for me to have a family and to be a very present mum. And so I choose not to have those 2 things in conflict. I accept that there are times when I need to give more to one than another and that it won't be perfect. But ultimately, I know that I value those two things, and that's how it comes together for me. I also have a husband who is hugely supportive, and is able to pick up the slack for me when I'm not around. And I think making good choices around who you create a life with and who you create a family with, as a professional woman, is super important.